There's 5 devices already. This is one slide. There's people watching that. I know one of them is total. She's called 3 times.
Hey, Mark.
Did you see Anna? Oh, you did see him? Okay.
Watch it, watch the camera. I don't care about the camera, it's all the people. Stella back, Gail. This might be too loud because of the echo. So these two buttons will make it softer.
Sorry, I gave you the fact that makes me nervous.
No, but as far as ladies and gentlemen, could I ask at this time, if you have a cell phone, to please put it to silent mode at this time? Oh. We'll wait.
My son is on the case.
We're about to begin the service. Again, for those that missed, if you have a cell phone, please place it to silent mode. The funeral service will be conducted by Rabbi Nancy Landsman.
It is truly an honor to be officiating this service today for Barbara. I never had the privilege to meet Barbara, and I am very grateful to her family taking the time to share their memories, to help paint a picture of her very unique and incredible life. On behalf of her beautiful family, I want to thank all of you for being here, those here in the chapel and those of you joining remotely. Our hearts certainly go out to you, Steve, and to David and Jennifer, to Daniel, to Lila and Sadie and Jake, and to Beth. Our hearts go out to all of you. Many times, mourners will make a tear in their clothing to symbolize how their hearts are torn. Steve, you've been given a Kriya ribbon, and I'd ask if you could just stand up for a moment before making a tear in the ribbon. This is in lieu of making a tear in your clothing. In a moment, I'll invite you to make a tear in this Kriya ribbon. You'll notice that the ribbon has been pinned on the left side over your heart. It's only children who have the Kriya ribbon pinned over their heart, because there is no relationship as unique and special as that between parent and child. The Hebrew words which I'll invite you to say after me are Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Dayan Ha'emet. These words mean, praised are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, judge of truth. From the bottom of the ribbon up towards that circular button, you can tear it a little or all the way up as far as you'd like. Sometimes they're a little stubborn to tear, and sometimes you got it, okay. You can choose to wear this ribbon just today, or the first week of mourning, or the period of Shloshim, 30 days. Please be seated. You also have a choice to wear the ribbon tucked in the inside or on the outside. And if you choose to wear the Kriya ribbon on the outside, hopefully people will understand that you are in a period of mourning and they'll have compassion on you. In learning about Barbara, I have selected a few readings and poems that I felt were fitting for her and for her beautiful family. Unfortunately, the author of this first poem, entitled A Life Well Lived, the author is unknown. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory our grateful hearts will treasure. An unknown author wrote, "You are my partner through thick and thin. We win together and we lose as kin. You understand my little tics, the way I signal the cards I pick. We play together, a perfect pair. With you beside me, it's a bridge to share. So let's make a deal, a contract high, and watch the other team sigh." Well, you all know how much Barbara loved to play bridge and how accomplished she was as a bridge player. She also, I understand, loved to play golf. Criswell Freeman wrote, "Life is like a round of golf, with many a turn and twist, but the game is much too sweet and short to curse the shots you've missed. Sometimes you'll hit it straight and far, sometimes the putts roll true, but each round has its errant shots and troubles to play through. So always swing with courage, no matter what the lie, and never let the hazards destroy the joy inside. And keep a song within your heart. Give thanks that you can play For the round is much too short and sweet to let it slip away. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a loved child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." I think everyone who knew Barbara would agree that Barbara succeeded big time on so many levels. Regardless of how many years a person is granted, and Barbara was granted 94 years, when we gather like we are today, we understand the finality of this beautiful life. Many look for comfort, and many do find comfort when turning to the book of Psalms. Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence shall my help come? My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. In your service folders, you find the 23rd Psalm. I think this Psalm speaks to all of us, regardless of our faith. So I'd like to invite all of you here, as well as those of you joining us remotely, to join with me in reciting Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Barbara was blessed with a beautiful family who loved her so very much and whom she loved so very much. An unknown author wrote this beautiful poem entitled "The Greatest Gift." One of the greatest gifts that life can give to anyone is the very special love that families share. As years go by, it's good to know that there will always be certain people in our lives who care. For there are countless things that only families have in common, and memories that no one else can make. And these precious ties that bind a family together are bonds that time and distance cannot break. How fortunate we are when we have relatives to love us. It makes the world a happy place to be. Few gifts in life will last as long or touch the heart as deeply as the very special gift of family. We have some family members who are prepared to speak today. It's my great honor to first call upon Barbara's son, Steve.
Thank you, Rabbi. Oh my, how to cover even the high points of my mom's full and so admirable life. Focusing first on the modern period, she was fortunate to have had family around her that she loved deeply, especially her grandsons, David and Daniel, her granddaughter, Emily, of blessed memory, her 3 great-grandkids, Lila, Sadie, and Jake, and David's wife, Jen. I should also mention Jonah the Sheltie and Bertha the Bulldog. Please know that my mom did forgive Bertha for causing the fall a few years ago that sent my mom to the hospital. To their great credit, everyone I've mentioned was able to look past my mom's occasional table slamming, both figurative and literal, and to show her warmth and adoration, show her the warmth and adoration she so richly deserved. The same credit for looking past it goes also to her daughter-in-law, Beth, beginning with the often mentioned rehearsal dinner incident about table seating locations at the time Beth and I were getting married. Even after Beth and I were no longer husband and wife, my mom and Beth were in regular contact and loved each other very much. Switching now to my mom's early years, she grew up on Albany Avenue in Logan Square with parents Dave and Della Sachs and sister Carol, all of blessed memory. Their home on Albany was the scene of the never-to-be-forgotten incident in which my mom claims that she went after Carol with a pair of scissors. My mom attended the University of Wisconsin, where she majored in dating boys and playing bridge. As a young adult, she visited California and stayed with her dad's brother and his wife, the beloved Aunt May. In California, she met and married my father. They divorced when I was a little toddler, and she returned to Chicago to begin a new life with her young son, Lee. For several years, she worked as a legal secretary on LaSalle Street in the Loop, where she met and married the love of her life, a lawyer named Harold Nudelman. Besides the love they shared, Harold contributed considerably to my mom's deep interest in politics. Unfortunately, Harold died when I was 27 and my mom was just 48, only 20 years after she and he had met. His death was the beginning of my mom's new life as a single person. With her natural savvy and experience from her time working in a law office, my mom proved to be a remarkable, bright businesswoman. Her business career began well before Harold died and continued for years after he passed. She ran a company involved in the sale of radio and TV advertising and broadcast station ownership. Outside of work, she was an advocate for the performing arts and volunteered her time and event planning skills on behalf of a new independent high school for the performing arts in Chicago's River West neighborhood. She gave of her time and energy in many other spheres too, but most especially to organizations involved with the game of contract bridge. Not social bridge, contract bridge. Use the Wikipedia or the Google. Contract bridge. She became a bridge life master in 1970. As a single person, she threw herself into all things bridge, traveling across the USA and all over the world as a player and in many different organizational roles as a delegate and as president of the Chicago Contract Bridge Association, and later as president of the U.S. national governing body, ACBL. And soon also as an executive board member of the World Bridge Federation. Name practically any major city in the US or a world city, and she had a dear friend in that city because of her involvement with and travels on behalf of Contract Bridge. She was very proud of her accomplishments for the game, especially her efforts to promote wider interest in the game and to encourage young people to take up playing it at a high level. Even into her 90s, she continued to play bridge with her many friends. At 92, she moved into an independent living community, but was sad to find there were no serious bridge players among the residents. So she would play online or drive somewhere, yes, drive, to a game in one of the surrounding suburbs. I haven't yet touched on many of her other loves, but I want to, and her deep interests and life activities, including the support and advice she gave Harold about life and politics. The advice and support she gave me, of course, our frequent discussions about politics. Her passion for traveling with family and with friends. Her time spent with Carol and the families of Carol's kids, Mark, Marcia of blessed memory, and Michelle. And with many cousins in Illinois and points east and west, especially my mom's BFF cousin in Wilmette, Joyce Edelstein. I mustn't forget my mom's love of golfing, of going to lunches and dinners with her friends from places far and wide, and of attending plays at places like the Goodman and Steppenwolf, and her profound enjoyment in taking adult classes at Northwestern, especially the politics and history courses. I am an only child, and since we came to Chicago as a duo in the early 1950s, we've always been there for each other through good times and tragedies, joy and sadness. And I want to close now by saying how wonderful our life was as a duo, and how happy I am that she left such an absolutely brilliant legacy in my family. Thank you. David?
Now it's my great honor to call upon her grandsons, David and Daniel.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here to support our family and to honor such a unique and special woman. From the very beginning, Barb insisted that we call her by her first name, Barbara or Barb, and it's always been pretty clear to us why she shunned the more traditional Grandma, Nana, or Bubby monikers. Barb is not your typical grandma, and it never took long for anyone to realize that. She carried with her a certain mystique that caused friends or coworkers of ours to inquire about her and comment on her aura, even if they had never met her. Barb was an absolute legend. A single mother to our dad and only child, remarried to the love of her life, Harold, and then widowed, all before becoming a young, once again single, and hip grandma in her early 50s. Standing 5'0" with a dark, dark tan, Barb was a complete firecracker. She drove a convertible. She wore Oakley sunglasses with blue flames on the sides. She ate her steak rare and gnawed the bone. She was a badass international bridge player who traveled to faraway tournaments in Tunisia and China. She was a ball of energy, and if you couldn't keep up, good luck to you. Barb was intelligent and sharp as a tack. She was a political aficionado who could name most members of the US Congress well into her 90s, crushed crossword puzzles daily, read books at rapid speeds, and whooped ass at the bridge table. She was also a lifelong learner, still enrolled in fall 2025 classes at Northwestern. Barb was a boss. She was a business leader as president of a radio ad agency, a social alpha, president of various bridge associations, and the rock of our family. She was an independent Renaissance woman in a generation where that was less commonplace, an absolute force to be reckoned with. Barb was funny and quick-witted. Zingers were a dime a dozen, and she made us laugh constantly. Barb was an adventure seeker. She had always dreamed of learning to fly a plane, and so for her 80th birthday, we made that dream come true, commissioning Captain Pascal for a flight around Chicago in a small prop plane with Barb stealing while sitting co-pilot. Mission accomplished. Barb didn't eat dinner, she dined. Cell phones were banned at the table. Everyone was required to stay for post-meal coffee. Of course, Barb was a vodka drinker, absolute citron to be exact. And you best not substitute that for another brand of citrus vodka. She can tell and she'll send it back. Sure, sometimes she drank a bit too much. However, most of the time she indulged right up to the edge of responsibility. And given the thousands of experience accompanied by her favorite drink, more power to her. Most would describe Barb as having a big personality, but she was a complex being, a tough nut to crack, and certainly far from perfect. She could be loud and boisterous, but sometimes stoic and reserved. She frequented the theater and could be proper, sophisticated, and refined, but she also cursed like a sailor without filter in front of children. She was opinionated and always prided herself in telling it like it is. She'd tell you when you got too fat or needed to shave, and if it had been longer than 10 days without a phone call, you'd surely receive a voicemail. Hello, do you remember me? It's your grandmother. Barb's doghouse was not a place you wanted to be. She epitomized tough love. She was a loose cannon with a temper, who seemed to relish abrasive confrontation, especially with other women in our family and servers at Chicago steakhouses. She verbally and even physically assaulted waiters, yet still remained a favorite diner at Joe's, Rosebud, and EJ's. She told my mom to fuck off at our parents' rehearsal dinner the night before their wedding, yet she, along with her sisters, always included Barb in family holidays when they didn't have to. She kicked a man in a hot air balloon in Kenya. She got into an altercation with a She received a 1-month suspension from her golf club for lambasting another member, but for good reason, since that member was talking on his cell phone against course rules. Sometimes her passion and tough outer shell just got the best of her heart of gold.
Above all else, Barb was a traveler and an explorer in search of human experience. She traveled extensively and globally with her friends for international bridge tournaments and otherwise, and she made it her mission to ensure that we similarly got the travel itch. She was a proud Jew, but her religion was experience. So at a young age, we twice went to Disney World, and she introduced us to skiing. We cruised annually, visiting the Panama Canal and every island in the Caribbean. We each took an 8th grade graduation trip to New York City for a weekend of Broadway theater. And we rang in the Millennium beside an erupting volcano in Hawaii. But that was all just a warm-up to a 12-year travel spree of epic proportions we experienced with Barb as adults. We celebrated my high school graduation by cruising the Mediterranean and visiting Spain, Monaco, Italy, Greece, and Turkey. We celebrated Barb's 75th on a safari in Kenya and Tanzania, searching for rhinos and mating lions in the shadow of Mount Kilimanjaro. We danced goofily while checking the Taj Mahal off Barb's bucket list as we trekked throughout northern India, including an almost abduction by an armed militia. We toured Angkor Wat and the temples of Cambodia, and in Vietnam, Barb swears she saw President Ho Chi Minh move in his tomb. We also visited Alaska and its glaciers by seaplane, helicopter, train, and ship. Any place Barb wanted to go, or anything she wanted to do, we simply said yes, and we truly saw the world together. Most recently, we celebrated her 90th birthday in Miami with Barb's late sister Carol, our family and my kids, and some of her friends on a trip we dubbed Absolute Barb. Barb was always planning her next journey. Even in her final months, she was targeting a globetrot to South Africa, a return to the Ryder Cup, another trip with the great-grandkids, and one last jaunt to New York or London to see as many plays as possible in 48 hours, just like she did last year. The world was her playground, and she made it ours too. She encouraged a life of exploration multicultural relationships and adventure, which we treasure dearly. Barb taught us so many things, and her words, delivered with her quintessential directness, were always matched by her actions. Barb taught us how to be a leader. If you are confident, decisive, and strong-willed, friends and family will look to you for guidance and support. Listen before you speak, but speak your mind. Engage in debate, and don't look back. She taught us to be authentic and genuine. She'd respond with, "I am who I am," for her actions, good or bad. And she never wavered from her purpose, her personality, or her values. Barb was blunt and no bullshit. She truly could care less about what other people thought of her. She taught us to be discerning with high standards. Barb strove for excellence for herself, and she expected the same of others. She demanded that her soup be hot and her steak cooked to the proper temperature. She regularly slammed the Bears and the Cubs for their mediocre ways, and of course she pushed us for success in our business careers and personal endeavors. Barb taught us to be persistent. She didn't take no for an answer, and she didn't take shit from anybody. She told us just to power through. She taught us not to worry. Don't sweat the small stuff. Whatever will be, will be. You can't live your life in fear of what could happen, and you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. Barb taught us to be hardworking. Her blue-collar-like grit and work ethic was infused into each of her life's passions. Barb was the very definition of work hard, play hard. She taught us to keep your mind and body fresh as you age. She golfed, dined, drank, traveled, learned, theatered, and was mentally and physically sharp, driving and living independently until the very end. This wasn't just luck or good genes. She always kept busy. Who needs doctors? We had Barb to show us the keys to longevity. Barb taught us the importance of relationships and maintaining strong friendships. She didn't need to choose quality or quantity. She had both. Barb made friends with ease, at home and all over the world. Daniel visited Brazil for a college business school trip, and Barb arranged for him and his classmates to visit her great friend Ernesto and his company in Sao Paulo. Any country you were visiting, she had a friend to reach out to, and building vast social networks became part of Daniel and my DNA. While living with a high quality of life to 94 brought her great pride, it also brought her great pain as she had lost so many. Yet Barb's phone was still chock full of close friends, a true testament to her magnetic personality and wonderful soul. She built deep relationships, and she was loyal as hell. If you were in need, she'd do anything for you. And if you needed a kick in the ass, she could help there too. Always present, always showing up for her people. But above all else, she taught us to put family first. Family was her number one priority in life. It was the inner circle of her inner circle. Her love for our tight-knit family was fierce, tough, and unconditional. As we've reflected since her passing, what hits home is how these teachings have become a core part of our souls. That inner fire that makes Daniel and I want to go to every concert and be constantly present for our family and friends. Travel like madmen and approach life with joy and purpose is the embodiment of Barb's spirit. And we intend to keep that spirit alive and well. Daniel and I each had a truly unique and exceptionally special relationship with Barb, as many of you have pointed out. She was our best friend from the beginning. She spoiled us, she over-buttered our bread, she danced wildly at our bar mitzvahs, and she cut our steak at dozens of steakhouses. She was unconditionally proud and accepting of us as individuals, but as our adult lives naturally took different paths, our independent relationships with her evolved in different ways.
For me, our interests merged, in particular with golf. So did our friends, the Barbs, John, Schmucky, Billy, and Randy. We golfed together, we dined together, we laughed together. Our friendship spanned generations, with Barb as the centerpiece. She engulfed my social media accounts, a bit strange, sure. I didn't care though. Barb was a special character, and I wanted the world to know it. We texted every Sunday during PGA events. Barb always rooting for the Americans, especially Scotty. We bet on the Bears. Barb would take the opposing team, and she'd tease me when they didn't have Bully Blues. We had one-on-one dinners, and no matter what was going on in my life, a vodka and a shared ribeye with Barb made me feel so happy. She never once criticized my unconventional path through life. Instead, she celebrated it. I've never felt someone flowing through my soul the way Barb does. And while a chunk feels bruised, that feeling will live on forever.
For me, bringing Jen and later our children, Lila, Sadie, and Jake, into the family and into my relationship with Barb was such a joy. Barb and Jen developed a strong love for one another with their own independent bond and banter. And while I didn't get the same Daniel level one-on-one time with Barb in recent years due to my young kids and family life, the arrival of our kids brought forth a tenderness and warmth in Barb that I don't remember having seen before. She suggested that they call her Noodles. It stuck instantly, and she finally accepted a playful grandma name. And the way that she smiled at them, pure, uncomplicated joy, felt like something that was rare and precious in her later years. We truly have enough Barb stories to write a book, and I look forward to sharing every one of them with our children and all future generations of Noodles disciples when appropriate. With the loss of our sister Emily, Daniel and I learned at a young age that life can be unbearably cruel. The pain that washed over our family in that moment felt insurmountable. And we understood far too early that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Like us, Barb was shaken to her core, but what she did from there revealed her true character. Barb poured her heart into showing up for us day and night. She dedicated herself tirelessly to our family foundation. She reminded us that life still had an abundance of joy and taught us to cherish every single day. And she didn't just say it, she lived it herself and made it her mission to create those happy times for us and our family. Barb gave us the blueprint for how to live a long, fulfilled, and accomplished life. It's that Barb brand of living that we hope to instill in our kids and our friends, because that's all that Daniel and I have ever known. She made it simple. Treasure and be fiercely loyal to your closest family and friends. Take every opportunity that avails itself and go see the world. Be active and work hard, but make it fun along the way. Smile and laugh a lot. Tell it like it is. Take up hobbies. Keep your mind and body fresh. And when life throws you the inevitable curveball, take it in stride with vigor and strength, since everything will be okay. Barb was truly the best grandma, travel partner, roommate, and friend that we could ever ask for. She would always tell us, gotta live your life. And she did it right, all the way. We will miss her dearly, love her forever, and always do everything in our power to keep her spirit alive, her legendary spirit alive. One thing's for sure, each and every one of us here could use a little bit more Barb in them. Thank you.
Such beautiful words. As I told the family, I'll follow you and fill in whatever blanks might be left. Well, there aren't too many blanks. We know that there are people joining us remotely, and one is Randy. Randy was Barbara's partner in bridge for 40 years. Randy was in our meeting and she had a lot to share, and I'd like, on her behalf, since she's joining us from Arizona, to share with you some of her memories. That Barbara was like a mother to her and was like a grandmother to her and her husband Billy's children. Randy mentioned that she became a life master because of Barb. And for these past 25 years, Barbara and Randy played bridge weekly. They roomed together at many tournaments around the globe and enjoyed playing yearly at the Lake Geneva tournament. Ethics was very important to Barb. To quote, do it right, and think it through. And also, Barbara would say, do your own thinking. So you all know Barbara was the Energizer Bunny, and I think everyone who knew her would say she was a real character, one of a kind. She was a doer. She knew how to get things done. And in that respect, and in many respects, she was a wonderful role model. She had her great attitude about moving on after adversity. She had this incredible bucket list. So adventurous. If you were in Barb's inner circle, she would do anything for you. She would give you the shirt off of her back. And to have friends all over the globe of all ages, who can say that? So let's remember and be thankful at this season of Thanksgiving for Barbara and for the lives that she impacted, the legacy that she leaves. Let's try to take a little bit of Barbara and live as long as we can an adventurous life of learning and traveling, having fun, making memorable. She wasn't into things. You guys said this in our meeting. She wasn't necessarily so materialistic. It was about creating memories. Many of us believe that our spirit, our soul can live on l'adore vador from generation to generation. We believe, some of us, that this is possible by those who are still here, we're still alive as long as we're alive, to continue to speak about Barbara and to share her memories. My hope is that in addition to speaking about her, all these wonderful memories that you have, that Lila and Sadie and Jake, when they grow older and have maybe children of their own, they'll know. That generation will know, and the next generation will know about Barbara. And that way she can live on, L'dor Vador. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is forever a blessing. And to that we say, Amen. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember Barbara. In the going of the wind and in the chill of winter, we'll remember her. In the open of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we'll remember. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we'll remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we'll remember. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we'll remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we'll remember. When we are lost and sick at heart, we'll remember her. When we have joys we yearn to share, we'll remember her. So long as we live, Barbara Nudelman shall live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her. To conclude here in the chapel, I invite you to turn back to your service folder where you find underneath the 23rd Psalm, El Malei Rachamim. We will be reciting the Kaddish at the crypt. It is customary to rise for El Malei Rachamim, so if you are able, please rise. Let us read the translation of El Malei Rachamim together. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Barbara Norma Nudelman, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated.
know if you noticed the acoustics. I had a little echo on this speaker. It was amazing. I don't normally speak, but I'm going to say a couple quick words. My name is Lloyd Mandel. I'm the funeral director, and I guess I'm a shirt-tail relative of the family. It turns out your mom's mother and my dad's Uncle Mickey's wife, Aunt Libby, were sisters. And when you and I first spoke, that was the first thing I found out. Then I found out your mom was at the Mather. My mom's at the Mather. And then you're going to be here at the mausoleum, and my mom someday will be here at the mausoleum. I have these coincidences occur, and it's like, seems like whenever the family, the Mandel family is part of it, I suddenly feel these things happening. In addition to that, your uncle, mom was a bridge player, and you're talking about she couldn't find anyone to play bridge with. I don't know if she could have held a candle to your mother and grandmother, but I wish they had gotten to know each other. I'm going to show my mom her picture. Maybe they knew each other, but mom was there a shorter period. And then the other thing I was going to basically say is that I think that when I see this stuff like this coincidence happen, it's like there's just too much now. A good friend of mine passed away from kindergarten. A friend of mine came over to give me a hug, and we were really upset about it. And I asked him about his in-laws, and he said, well, they're in Deerfield, they're waiting for a 2-bedroom at the Mather. They're gonna move to the Mather. 5 minutes later, you called me, and you informed me your mom had passed. And it might not have been appropriate at the time, but I said, does she have a 2-bedroom? And I told you the story, and you're like, 30 days. It's just all these things to me, that'll be it. And so at this time, what's happening is we're gonna take the casket to the crypt, but it's kind of difficult for everybody to go, plus they do a little procedure where they put what's called an insurance seal around the casket. So I'm thinking that it's best, they're gonna want us all to stay here, but I'm thinking the 2 grandsons maybe would be pallbearers, and that you could take your grandmother down, and then when they're ready for us, they'll come up, and everybody else, anybody who wants to go down to witness the entombment, you can do so. And then afterwards, after the entombment's done, everyone's invited back to Max and Benny's. That information's in the program. Thank you all for coming. There was also 15 devices signed on, so in addition to everybody here, we probably had 20, 25 additional people. When the casket's taken out, I would ask that everybody please rise, and then you're welcome to sit or mingle while they do what they're gonna do downstairs. And then when we're ready, we'll all go down.
Please rise.
It's just the 2 of them and your workers would be best.
This could take about 10, 15 minutes, so you don't have to sit in silence. So. No one is required to stay, so it's only if you wish to stay. It will be very
gonna take it down, otherwise you'll cut off the screen. I don't like this. Let's think. Thank you so much.
I did not meet you before.
I called up there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready now to go downstairs to the crypt. Want us to go down the stairs? Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention? Anybody here that needs an elevator as opposed to taking stairs? Okay, so we're gonna, whoever needs to take an elevator, we're gonna take you down here. I do need to ask everyone, for everyone's attention, please. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta ask you for your attention. We're gonna go downstairs, but ladies, or anyone else that needs to take the elevator, I'll take you by elevator.
Boys are staying there.
Is that okay? Okay, so this is Victoria. She works here at Memorial Park. If you're okay taking the stairs, follow her. If anybody wants to take the elevator, you can come with me. Yeah, you can leave your coats. I'm sure they won't steal more than 2 or 3 of them. Do you want the mic system? Do you want the microphone? So anyone coming on the elevator, please follow me.
You been here before? I'm actually the person that bought this cemetery. But are you? This is my mom. Actually, I found a crypt.
Right down there.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mom is down. Going to be on the upper floor, but my grandparents are down there. Through those double doors.
Yeah.
Is he entombed or cremated?